Sneaky manipulation tactics women use to control sigma males. Ever pondered if the elusive sigma male is immune to manipulation tactics? Today, we're exploring the intriguing world of sigma males, those solitary wolves who defy traditional social hierarchies and carve out their own unique paths. Often seen as the introverted, self-reliant counterparts to the more dominant alpha males, sigmas are known for their independence and non-conformity. They are the men who prefer their own company, who are perfectly content with solitude, and who are not swayed by societal expectations or norms. Because of these characteristics, a common misconception has emerged. The idea that sigma males are impervious to manipulation. After all, they're self-sufficient, emotionally controlled and generally detached from societal drama. They don't crave validation or acceptance, and they're not easily swayed by peer pressure. So it's easy to see why some might believe that sigma males are immune to manipulation. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Sigma males, just like anyone else, can fall prey to manipulation tactics. Their solitary nature and emotional control don't necessarily protect them from psychological games or covert influences. In fact, their tendency to be reserved and introspective can sometimes make them an attractive target for manipulators. You see, manipulation isn't just about controlling someone's actions or decisions. It's also about influencing someone's perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. And this can be done subtly and insidiously without the victim even realizing what's happening. So while it's true that sigma males may not be as susceptible to overt manipulation tactics, they can definitely fall victim to more covert tactics. So, are sigma males really immune to manipulation? The answer is a resounding no. Just like anyone else, they can be manipulated, deceived, and controlled. But the tactics used might be different, more subtle and more insidious. It's time to debunk this myth and delve into the manipulation tactics that can ensnare even a sigma male. Let's pull back the curtain on the clever tactics that can sway a sigma male. When it comes to manipulation, it's not always a grand spectacle. More often than not, it's the subtle, sneaky tactics that slip under the radar. Let's delve into these tactics, starting with guilt tripping. This is a classic move where someone tries to induce feelings of guilt in another person, to make them do something or think a certain way. It's like saying, if you really cared about me, you'd do this. Next up is gaslighting, a term that's been thrown around a lot lately. This is a psychological tactic where someone makes you question your own reality, your own perceptions. They might say things like, you're overreacting, or that never happened. It's a way of making you doubt yourself. And once that seed of doubt is planted, it can grow and fester. Then there's playing the victim. This is when someone portrays themselves as the innocent party, the one who's been wronged, even when they're the one at fault. It's a way of shifting blame and responsibility, and it's a tactic that can be incredibly effective. Another tactic is the silent treatment, a form of emotional manipulation where someone withdraws from a conversation or a relationship to exert control or to avoid dealing with an issue. It can make the other person feel powerless, anxious, and desperate to resolve the situation. Lastly, there's love bombing. This is when someone showers you with affection and attention, only to withdraw it suddenly. It's a way of creating a power dynamic where they hold all the cards. These tactics, and others like them, can be incredibly subtle. They're not always obvious, and that's what makes them so dangerous. They can be used to manipulate anyone, including sigma males, who are known for their independence and self-reliance. Such tactics can be subtle yet powerful and can indeed influence a sigma male. Consider John, a self-proclaimed sigma male who found himself ensnared in a guilt-tripping web. Meet John, a classic example of a sigma male, independent, introverted, self-reliant, and content with his solitude. But even the most self-assured individuals can find themselves tangled in the subtle snares of manipulation. In John's case, it was the insidious tactic of guilt-tripping that had him ensnared. John was in a relationship with Mary, a woman who had a knack for making him feel responsible for her happiness. On the surface, this might seem like a normal dynamic, but let's take a closer look. Mary would often express her dissatisfaction with the amount of time John spent on his hobbies. She would imply that his interests were trivial, making John feel guilty about pursuing them. This is a classic guilt-tripping tactic. By making John feel guilty about his interests, Mary was subtly manipulating him into prioritizing her needs over his own. John, being a Sigma male, valued his independence and personal space. However, the guilt he felt began to erode his self-esteem. He started to believe that his interests were indeed trivial and that he was being selfish for pursuing them. This is how guilt-tripping works. It subtly undermines your self-worth, making you question your choices and priorities. Over time, this guilt-tripping began to take a toll on John. He found himself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid any situation that might upset Mary. He began to lose sight of his own needs and desires as his focus shifted to appeasing Mary. But the turning point came when John stumbled upon an article about manipulation tactics. As he read about guilt-tripping, he began to see the similarities in his own relationship. It was like a veil had been lifted. He realized he was not selfish for wanting to pursue his interests. He understood that it was Mary who was being manipulative by making him feel guilty for being himself. Recognizing the manipulation was the first step towards breaking free from it. John started setting boundaries and asserting his needs. He stopped allowing Mary's guilt-tripping to dictate his actions. It was not an easy journey, but John was determined to reclaim his independence and self-worth. Jon's story is a stark reminder that even Sigma males can be guilt-tripped into submission. But it's also a testament to the resilience of Sigma males. Once they recognize the manipulation, they have the strength and determination to break free from it and reclaim their independence. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation as John, remember this. It's okay to assert your needs, it's okay to prioritize your interests, and it's certainly okay to say no when you feel manipulated. Jon's story is a stark reminder that even Sigma males can be guilt-tripped into submission. Meet Mark, another Sigma male who was a victim of gaslighting. Mark, an introverted, independent thinker, found himself in a relationship that, at first, seemed perfect. He was drawn to a charming and vivacious woman who appeared supportive of his solitary, self-sufficient lifestyle. However, as time went on, he noticed a shift in their dynamic. His partner began to question his perceptions and memory, sowing seeds of doubt that left him feeling unsure of his own mind. Let's delve deeper into Mark's story. He had always been a confident individual, but his partner's continuous questioning started to shake his self-belief. She'd often say things like, "You're not remembering things correctly," or "You're overreacting," when he expressed his feelings. She would twist facts, denying things that Mark knew had occurred. This psychological manipulation is called gaslighting, a subtle yet potent technique designed to make the victim question their reality. The impact of this subtle psychological manipulation was profound. Mark began doubting his memory, his judgment, and even his sanity. His self-esteem plummeted, and he felt increasingly isolated, not just from his social circle, but also from his own sense of self. This is the essence of gaslighting. It erodes your sense of reality and self-belief, leaving you feeling lost and vulnerable. But Mark was a Sigma male, a lone wolf, self-reliant and introspective. He began to notice the inconsistencies in his partner's words and actions. He started to question why he felt so unsettled and unsure of himself when he had always been a confident, self-assured individual. His introspective nature led him to research and dig deeper, and he stumbled upon the term gaslighting. As he read about it, he recognized the patterns and tactics his partner had been using. Realizing he was a victim of gaslighting was a turning point in Mark's story. With his newfound understanding, he began the process of disentangling himself from the manipulative web spun around him. He sought professional help and started rebuilding his self-esteem and confidence. It was a challenging journey, but Mark, being the resilient Sigma male, prevailed. Mark's tale is a glaring example of how Sigma males can fall into the gaslighting trap. Despite their independent nature and introspective tendencies, Sigma males, like anyone else, can become victims of psychological manipulation. But as Mark's story shows, their solitary, self-sufficient approach to life can also be their saving grace, enabling them to recognize and escape the manipulation. This case study serves as a reminder that anyone, including Sigma males, can fall prey to gaslighting. It's essential to stay aware, trust your instincts, and remember that it's okay to seek help. After all, understanding and awareness are the first steps towards combating any form of manipulation. Mark's tale is a glaring example of how Sigma males can fall into the gaslighting trap. Let's explore the story of Alex, a Sigma male who was manipulated by a master of the playing the victim tactic. Alex was a classic Sigma male, independent and introverted, preferring his own company to that of others. He was drawn to Emily, a woman who seemed to need his help and protection. Emily, however, was not as helpless as she appeared. She had mastered the art of playing the victim, a common manipulation tactic that is often used to control and influence others. From the outset, Emily painted a picture of herself as a damsel in distress, constantly under threat from a hostile world. She told stories of past relationships filled with betrayal and mistreatment, and she frequently talked about the injustices she faced at work. These tales were designed to elicit sympathy and trigger Alex's protective instincts. Emily's victimhood became the center of their relationship, and Alex found himself constantly trying to rescue her from her perceived enemies. Emily's manipulation had a profound effect on Alex. He began to feel responsible for her happiness and well-being. He sacrificed his own needs and desires in an attempt to save Emily from her seemingly endless problems. He was consumed by a sense of obligation, and his own identity began to fade. However, Alex eventually realized that he was being manipulated. He noticed that Emily's stories often lacked consistency, and that her crises conveniently arose whenever he attempted to assert his own needs. He also observed that Emily never took responsibility for her actions and always blamed others for her predicaments. Recognizing these signs, Alex embarked on a journey of understanding. He educated himself about manipulation tactics and the psychological dynamics at play. He realized that Emily was using her victimhood as a weapon, controlling him by exploiting his empathy and willingness to help. This understanding was a turning point for Alex. He realized that his attempts to rescue Emily were actually enabling her manipulative behavior. He also understood that he had a right to assert his own needs and boundaries. This realization was painful but empowering. Alex began to reclaim his independence and redefine his relationship with Emily. In the end, Alex learned a valuable lesson about manipulation. He realized that playing the victim is a powerful tactic that can control even the most independent individuals, including Sigma males. He learned to recognize the signs of manipulation and to assert his own needs and boundaries. Most importantly, Alex learned that he cannot save someone who is not willing to save themselves. Alex's experience highlights that playing the victim is a manipulation tactic that can control Sigma males. This story serves as a reminder that even the most self-reliant individuals can fall prey to manipulation. It underscores the importance of understanding manipulation tactics and maintaining healthy boundaries in relationships. Now that we've seen how Sigma males can be manipulated, how can they protect themselves? In the face of manipulation, Sigma males have a powerful weapon: self-awareness. Being aware of oneself, one's feelings, and one's reactions is the first step to combat manipulation. When you understand your emotions, you can see when they're being toyed with. By identifying what feels off, you can begin to unravel the manipulation tactics at play. A key part of this self-awareness is understanding manipulation tactics. As we've previously discussed, guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and playing the victim are common strategies used to manipulate Sigma males, but these are just the tip of the iceberg. There are many more, and they can be just as subtle and insidious. So how can a Sigma male become more aware of these tactics? The answer lies in education and observation. Read about psychological manipulation, watch videos, and listen to experts on the topic. With time, you'll become more adept at spotting these tactics in action. But knowledge alone isn't enough. Sigma males must also be assertive in setting personal boundaries. This means knowing your limits and making them clear to others. If someone tries to guilt-trip you, for example, you can say, "I understand your perspective, but I have to prioritize my needs right now." It's not about being confrontational, but about expressing your needs respectfully. Furthermore, Sigma males should trust their intuition. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Trusting your gut can help you identify when you're being manipulated, even if you can't pinpoint the exact tactic being used. Remember, manipulation thrives in ambiguity and doubt. Therefore, practicing clear communication is essential. If you're unsure about someone's intentions, don't be afraid to ask for clarification. This can help prevent misinterpretations and stop manipulation in its tracks. Finally, Sigma males should foster healthy relationships. Surrounding yourself with people who respect your boundaries and communicate openly can provide a strong defense against manipulation. You'll have a support system that can help you identify manipulation and stand up against it. In conclusion, the strategies for fighting back against manipulation are intertwined. Self-awareness, understanding manipulation tactics, setting personal boundaries, trusting your intuition, practicing clear communication, and fostering healthy relationships are all part of the same tapestry. Each thread strengthens the others, creating a robust defense against manipulation. In the grand scheme of things, it's important to remember that being a Sigma male doesn't make you immune to manipulation. No one is. But by arming yourself with knowledge and awareness, you can become more resilient. Sigma males, like anyone else, can arm themselves with knowledge and awareness to ward off manipulation. So, are Sigma males immune to manipulation? The answer is a resounding no. As we've journeyed through this exploration, we've uncovered some unsettling truths. Yes, even the independent and self-reliant Sigma males can fall prey to manipulation tactics. It's not about being weak or lacking in intelligence. It's about the subtlety and craftiness of these strategies designed to exploit the vulnerabilities common to all humans. We delved into 3 case studies, each shedding light on a different manipulation tactic: guilt-tripping, gaslighting, and playing the victim. All tactics that can be used to control and manipulate Sigma males. The independent, introverted Sigma male might be seen as an easy target for these tactics, precisely because they prefer solitude and tend to keep their emotions under wraps. However, it's important to remember that being a Sigma male does not equate to being a soft target. In fact, their independence and self-reliance can serve as powerful weapons against manipulation. But the key lies in awareness and understanding. We explored the countermeasures Sigma males can employ to fight back against manipulation. It's about being aware of one's emotions and reactions, maintaining clear boundaries, and having the courage to confront manipulative behavior. It's about empowering oneself with knowledge and understanding to recognize the signs of manipulation and respond effectively. The Sigma male, known for his introspection and self-reliance, is well equipped to arm himself with this knowledge. His natural inclination towards self-improvement and personal growth can serve as a solid foundation for building resistance against manipulation. In conclusion, while Sigma males can indeed fall prey to manipulation, they are by no means helpless victims. With awareness and understanding, they can turn the tables, resisting manipulation and maintaining their independence. Remember, no matter where you stand in the social hierarchy, awareness and understanding are your best defenses against manipulation.